Hi, friends. Max El-Haj here. On this episode of the Corpus Animus podcast, we have training think tank athlete Jordan Adcock. I met Jordan at the quarterfinals where she works with training think tank coach Perrin Bear, and then she came back to train for the semifinals where she's competing at the West Coast Classic. We talk about her background as an athlete and what she does for a living and a bunch of other fun stuff. Listen up. All right, tell me about your dogs.
One dog.
Oh, one dog. So
Eventually,
you're going to get another one.
I hope so, yeah.
What kind?
Probably adopt another one.
Do you have like an age that you adopt?
I like puppy. I don't want to adopt a dog that has like behavior issues. I'm not seasoned enough in being a dog mom to be able to correct things.
Got it. So like a real puppy, like 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Mm-hmm. Can't they have behavioral? I feel like so this one died. She's a Cane Corso and I got another one.
So we like the same dog breeds. I like
ones.
those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big, intimidating looking ones.
Yeah. They end up not really being intimidating though when they're yours. When they're other people's.
To other people, but I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Stay away from me.
Are you an introvert? You'd fit in.
It's funny. I know they're not pit bulls, but you know, pit bulls are the ones that are supposed to be crazy or whatever. Yeah. I know that someone's going to be like, yeah, there's asshole pit bulls, but me in my whole life, I've never met one. I've never met a pit bull who's like, oh fuck, stay away from that guy.
Yeah. My college roommate adopted a pit. And then he bought a pit from a breeder, and his was like, it's just sketchy is the way I'd describe it.
Yeah,
Not
but haven't
violent,
you met a sketchy
like
every
a bit,
dog?
Like unpredictable in a way.
Yeah,
I've
like
seen some chihuahuas that are sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, little ones are generally worse because they never get corrected. People are like, oh, it's cute. I'm like,
you can just do whatever they want. You're like, it's bite my finger off.
Yeah, I was biting something. This is not right. All right, well, that's dog talk. Now
Good way to start it.
Yeah. Tell me about yourself. Now let's go into... I'd like when I bring new people on to kind of go through their athletic history, start with how they got into CrossFit, what their learning process was like. Perrin said that you were a cheerleader in your background. Yeah. You said you were a flyer. That's what I'm aspiring towards.
A flyer?
A flyer.
Does that mean like the people who get thrown?
Yes.
Damn.
He wants to get tossed around.
Yeah.
Max wants to get tossed. All right, we can close it down.
You were so happy to say that.
Hey, pull that mic down just a tad.
Yeah.
There you go.
So was that like your sport growing up?
It was. So I did competitive cheerleading, but before that I did a little bit of like track and soccer.
At what age are we talking here?
So I did track and soccer leading up to high school and then solely started doing competitive cheerleading.
Oh, where are you from?
North Carolina.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah. Give us your current cross.
We should tell people that you're going to West Coast. How many weeks from filming?
Don't I normally do that in the intro?
Yeah, I guess
Some of
so.
it?
Yeah.
Should we give like a second intro?
Yeah. Do it again.
Yeah. Jordan Adcock, West Coast Classic participant. Yeah, competitor.
Getting that participation ribbon.
Yeah, for sure. What's your association with Canada? I thought you were Canadian in some capacity.
I moved there. So
you went from North Carolina to Canada?
I did. So I was nursing at the time. And then my best friend, Meredith Root, was moving to Canada to be closer to a girlfriend. And my coach at the time was also up in Calgary.
Oh.
So I was like,
with Mike Fitzgerald?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So I was like, let's take a break from nursing. I want to live somewhere different and let's experience something new. And at the time, the West region was like an easier one. So we moved there right before they announced the new like super region. So that kind of backfired on us. Yeah.
Oh, that was it was good.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it ended
Region
up
chaser.
being, well, it wasn't just for that reason, but that was part of it.
Yeah.
So it ended up being like, it was only 5 from our region went to regionals and we were 3 of the 5 and we like trained together. So that was pretty intense leading up to like trying to qualify.
That's kind of like what's going on here with the fact that West Coast Classic, not everyone selected that as their first choice, but it seems like it just ended up, we have, I think,
5 guys.
Yeah, but I think overall as an organization, we have even more than that. I think we have like 8 total participants. We have like 20% of the
Man, you're
field
hitting them hard with the participants today.
Sorry. Once I get a word stuck in my head, it just automatically keeps coming out. It's like repetition, playing a song.
We need shirts, training think tank participant. You know, fuck the athlete
That
shirt.
sounds so bad. Like showing up to be there.
Joel, one of the on-site athletes,
one of the participants.
Yeah, he left, and we had a competition in the last Open that I did. And as a prize for beating him, he gave me like a 1994 soccer participation award. It's a little trophy I have in my office. It's my only CrossFit trophy.
least you got something.
All right. So back to North Carolina. That's where you went to high school, college, all that stuff.
I was
there?
born and raised there.
Okay.
Like right in the Raleigh area, so the capital.
All right. So you competed in cheerleading starting in high school.
Yeah, starting in like middle school, got more serious in high school, then also did it in college for like a competitive gym. It wasn't like related to like school athletics.
Really? It's so separated. It's like
It's
a club.
separated. Yeah, it's more club. So if you ever have seen like ESPN where they're doing all like the crazy flips,
I've seen a Netflix show on it too. That's how I knew what a flyer was.
Yep.
Did you watch it?
I did. It was pretty good.
It was good.
Do you ever go down to Orlando and try to go for a championship?
Yeah, so I competed at Worlds one year, the year before I stopped. We didn't do very well, but like even just getting there is like a pretty huge.
Not if you're my high school. They're back-to-back champs.
For real?
Wait,
Yeah.
wow.
At some point.
Not at Worlds. They would have been at something different, like a school-related competition.
Is this the thing in Orlando?
Yes.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Well, there's two different ones. One's
well,
just for schools.
Whatever
and
the
one's
most
for, like-
elite is.
Yeah.
There's
what they
two in Orlando.
I believe so. I think one is only for like high schools and colleges, and another one is for just like competitive gyms, which are called like all-star gyms.
Yeah.
Tell us something about that whole cheerleading thing that we'd be surprised to know.
You'd be surprised to know.
Like, what's something that people who just, it's cheerleading. There has to be something where you're going to wow us. No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, like personally, people aren't as girly as you would think. Like people on, like when you're on stage, you're wearing like a whole bunch of makeup, your hair's done,
Yeah.
You're wearing a bunch of glitter, but like I wouldn't consider myself
Y'all
a
just
girly
farting on
girl,
each other
but
the
I
whole
was like-
time.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe not that far.
maybe the guys are. I don't know about the girls. I didn't do that.
I think after watching it, I had this maybe ignorant perspective because I think of cheerleading as the girls that were standing on the side of the football team.
Yep.
Watching that show gave me a perspective of it's like a legitimate training culture. It's like a combination of choreographing dances, athletic stuff, gymnastics. Just I had a lot of an appreciation for how much athleticism went into it.
And how much time and training goes into it too.
Yeah. And also how it's like, it was kind of strange where it was like the JUCO in that specific Netflix documentary, the junior college was like the place that everybody went because there's no infrastructure in like big universities. And it was just an interesting culture to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the whole thing about not working hard, like growing up, they're like, well, what do you do athletically? I'm like a cheerleader. And they're like, a cheerleader. So you stand there and shake pom-poms. I'm like, hardly. No, not at all.
So you did that all the way through college.
I did.
Did you like enjoy the process of competing? Was it training? Was it being part of the culture?
I loved competing. I've always loved kind of the pressure and being like on the floor and just kind of in my element. I feel like I thrive in that environment. Like I also love the training and the journey to get there, but game day is kind of my favorite part of it.
And
So
then
you say the pressure. So when you're flying, when you're the person being thrown, is the pressure on the catching person or the person or you?
I mean, both, because you have to do your job up in the air and finish where you're supposed to.
Who messes that
Or else
whole
you're going to
thing
like
up more?
kick them and then they can't catch you.
Ooh.
yeah, it's really interesting how like tight and rigid you have to be and
Like
you're landing on
timing
one.
has to be on point.
Yeah. And I think the teamwork dynamic and like the positional strength of the bottom person and where their feet are. And it was, I was watching
into
it,
it.
thinking of it like as a coach. I'm like, how do you train these people other than just doing it?
Yeah.
Because if you work with one person who's a base and then you have a completely different person with like a different body type or different size hands or
It's a
something,
lot of
I'm
just
assuming.
like practice, and then the coaches kind of know the role of like everyone. Of course, you might have like one or two coaches who specialize in flying, but the coach knows kind of like how each role should work, so they're able to make the corrections.
Do you think that background helped you in CrossFit? Or do you
With
think it
short, explosive, really fast workouts?
just that?
I was not aerobic when I first started CrossFit.
Really?
No.
You seem pretty. What would you consider your strengths and gifts as a CrossFitter?
I think it's changed from the beginning till now. I think my first coach that I work with, Fitzgerald, he was really good at getting me more well-rounded and building my aerobic base. I was good at lifting because I followed Outlaw Way prior to that. So we were just like cycling the barbell every single day. But now I think just being consistent across everything and just not really having a lot of huge weaknesses is probably.
I have a little bit of a mouse brain, but because I'm going all over the place. But so you finished university as a cheerleader, and then if you were in Outlaw Way, that means did you start CrossFit in cheerleading or back in the day? How old are you?
Right when I was ending, so I'm 29.
Okay.
So I think I started CrossFit the year I stopped cheerleading because I had nothing to do. So I was just like going to a Globo gym, doing my own thing. And I actually saw the games on TV one summer.
What year was this?
It was the summer of 2012 because then I started CrossFit at the beginning of 2013.
And that was like the peak of Outlaw, right? Because the 2012 regional was the one that just came out and it was heavy. There was like the heavy hang cleans. And
yeah, so that was like right before I got into it. But yeah, I didn't start following Outlaw way until I moved back to Raleigh. Like,
Is he
I went to
still trucking?
university.
I don't know. I don't think so. I know he had like some interpersonal stuff that affected.
So I think they're doing, him and a guy, John, who owns a gym in Raleigh. I think they're doing stuff for like programming for gyms, but I don't think like they don't have a competitive side anymore like they did before.
That's interesting because I feel like weightlifting for regular people is not a huge priority.
I think it's kind of maybe expanded a bit and kind of broadened what they're doing, but still doing stuff, just not as prevalent as he was in the space.
So you got into CrossFit, you knew you wanted to compete right away. Who was like, you watched the games, who was like something triggered you that you're like, I want to be there?
It's just what they were doing. I was like, this is so cool how these people are pushing themselves so hard and just everything they were doing. I was like, I really want to do that. So I called my local CrossFit gym and I was like, I want to sign up. And then I started going at like 6 a.m. every morning.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
You were one of those.
Yeah, because I had to like go to school after and then I worked after I went to class. So it was like that was the only time of day I could fit it in because I was still coaching cheerleading and gymnastics at night.
Wow.
So.
And you went right into nursing school?
Yeah, well, before you have to do 2 years before you apply to nursing school.
What?
So 2 years of like undergrad and then nursing school is 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you knew you wanted to compete right away. You started with the 6 a.m. classes.
Yep. And then I just
what?
started doing classes. And then one of the competitors there was like, I think you could be really good at this. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Thank you. Tell me more.
Kind of like took me under their wing. And then I started like slowly integrating into doing what they were doing. So I started in 2013, then went to regionals on a team in 2015. And that's the year we went to the games.
What team was that?
CrossFit Wilmington.
Oh,
I think they finished maybe like, I think they went like 3 years in a row.
Isn't that MJ's stomping grounds?
It is. Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I got it. Now I got it.
Don't make me specify MJ. Jeez.
Michael Jackson? So you did Wilmington in 2015, and then at some point you decided to go individual. When did you start working with Mike?
So I started working with Mike. Oh, when was it? I think it was it was in 2017. So I was kind of just on my own following Outlaw Way, working out like at a gym by myself, just trying to structure stuff the best I could outside of work.
Yeah.
Because at this point I was working night shift. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a good work ethic.
I like to think so. I try. But yeah, so I was like working night shift, just trying to like train around that and doing my own thing. And then Meredith, my friend, was working with Mike and I was like, I really like the style of like what you're doing. And then she just put me into contact with him.
Cool.
And then, so I think I was working with him for 4-ish months before I made the move.
Before you moved up there. Yeah. So what were your what's been your phases of evolution as you've developed as a CrossFitter? What's your focus been in training? Like, what was it when you first started? You said you didn't have an engine, but you were good at explosive stuff. So I'm assuming like getting good at Metcons. Has it evolved over the years?
Yeah,
like what
I think
you're
so.
working
So
on?
when I first started working with Mike, he had me doing just straight up aerobic stuff, a lot of just like easy running. I don't think I did anything CrossFit or even like anything kipping on the bar for like the first 10 to 12 week block. And I remember being like, this is so weird. I'm not going to know what I'm doing. He's like, trust me. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then as soon as that stuff got integrated back in, it was like, I'd never took any time away from it. So it was a long time building that back. And then I think it's been pretty consistent, just like kind of strength, still trying to build that aerobic base and then integrating more like CrossFit.
Cool. The with gymnastics or with cheerleading, is there strength training associated with it, or is it all just the stuff on the floor?
Yeah, I never did any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't start lifting until I was on my own towards the end of college, and I was just randomly doing stuff. So lower body strength came very fast. I think the first time I ever maxed out back squat, it was like close to 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But then it took me forever to get like a strict pull up. I was on that band forever.
Yeah, I figured that would, and like you're doing all this plyometrics and all this jumping
and all the bounding,
also
everything
like
with the tumbling.
and straight arm tumbling, but no pulling.
Right.
No
no pulling.
Yeah. So was that the slower thing to develop?
Yes, very, very slow. And even still, like strict pulling is still something I'm working on.
Yeah. I saw your legless rope climbs yesterday were pretty
They
good.
felt good.
Yeah,
Those
they
are
were
feeling
good.
good. I think part of that is the rope that I practice on back home is pretty slick. So
this was like grippier.
Felt so easy. I was like, wow. So that's a plus.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't get a slippery rope at regionals.
What makes a slippery rope?
The fabric. Like I have had a nylon. It's like nylon or something. It's hard to grip.
Oh, like it's like waxy?
Yeah. It has like some coating on it. It's not like the hemp, I guess, which is what that is out there.
Yeah, those are great. They're very grippy, but they tear apart.
So many ropes do that.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep replacing them.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like built in like planned obsolescence like they do with phones, that they like build them so they do
just trying
break.
To make money.
Yeah. I'm always skeptical of stuff.
Me too.
Big rope.
Yeah, the rope companies out there like, make sure this one frays if somebody clamps their feet on it.
We got to keep them coming back.
Yeah. So your competition history, you went to the games in 2015, and then what was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20?
So regionals by myself in 2016, same with 2017.
Both of those in the West?
East. I was in the Atlantic.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. So I still lived in North Carolina.
You know, your name has been super familiar, but it could have.
That's why.
Yeah. I mean,
Babcock or Adcock?
Not bad. Yeah, we'll tell that story later.
Badcock? I thought it was Adcock.
It is Adcock. So Jordan Rowland was here and Jordan Adcock was here. And somehow I thought there was a Jordan Babcock and a Jordan Adcock. I was like, you guys have such similar names. And they,
what?
Yeah. And she basically called me.
Where'd you, I still don't understand where you got Badcock from.
He made it up.
She made Badcock up. I said Babcock.
Babcock.
Oh, Bab.
Yeah.
Well, where'd you get Bab?
He made it up.
I have no idea. I made it up in my dumb brain.
Okay.
And she called me out on it. And
Give us a 5-star rating and smash that like button.
Perfect time. Yeah.
So regionals by myself at the Atlantic Regional 2016, 17, and then 18 I was in the West.
Okay. What were those experiences like? Where'd you finish? How'd you place?
So I finished middle of the road. Well, 2016 was a crapshoot. I got food poisoning after the first day. Oh. Yeah, so that was the year that the strict muscle ups came out. I was worried I was going to get capped. I was like, I might not make it past the first day.
Yeah.
And then I did, but then that night I was like throwing up and had an upset stomach all night. Still tried to compete the next day. I was like, I'll be fine.
Where'd you eat?
I had like salmon.
And from where?
Like the hotel restaurant downstairs.
Oh.
And my mom feels so guilty about it because she was like, we should just you're tired. We'll get food from downstairs. And she like blames herself. She's like, it's my fault.
Oh no. Did you make her feel bad about it?
No, not at all.
Do you care if I make her feel bad about it?
Mom.
Yeah.
But you did.
I still tried to do it the next day. I was like still green in the face, but I was like, I'm going to give it my all. Like, we're going to try. And then I got capped on the wall balls because you had to get at least one pull up. And I think I only got
it was 102 wall balls and 50 some or 104.
Yeah.
Something
it was like
that.
104. And then I think like
108, 52.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
And I think I got to like 70 wall balls maybe in the amount of time. And I was like, then just walked off the floor. And I was like, well, that's that. And then I laid in bed and ate Chick-fil-A and pita bread for the rest of the day.
Really?
Yeah,
that was your
badass.
post? That's your post?
I was sick.
Food poisoning food?
I just wanted like bread.
That makes sense.
I didn't want like any protein really or no vegetables because I was sick.
No protein. You ate Chick-fil-A.
Well, a little bit of chicken. It's not much.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. It's mostly bread.
I was like, I just want the bread.
Yeah. So that was 16.
That was 16. 17, I was still following Outlaw Way, and that was the year of the dumbbells.
Yeah.
I think I finished between like 14 and 16 that year.
So 15?
I think I don't remember. It was either like 14 or 16. That's like sticking in my head. Average that. And then same thing happened in 2018. I would have placed a lot higher, but the handstand ramp, I had never touched that until we got to regionals. We didn't have access to it. And there was something about the surface that just like kind of messed me up. So day 2 did not go so hot.
It's really different. So originally we made a wooden one, and then Travis was like, I got to practice on the real thing.
It's completely different.
It is. And I know like when you put your hand down on wood, it just like stops, but you put your hand on that
and it sinks a little bit. It changes.
Yeah. It changes your shoulder position a lot. For those of you who haven't practiced on them, definitely could
So I touched
change.
that for the first time in the warm up, and I like didn't even make it across in the warm up. And I was like, going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it was like, just try not to cry out on the floor from like frustration. So,
Did you succeed in that?
I did. I didn't cry on the floor.
Yeah,
I think
afterwards?
Probably. I normally cry when I'm just so mad. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. I wish I had that mechanism. I feel like I blunted it at some point in my past.
Yeah. I mean, I try very hard not to do it in front of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll like go by myself.
Bathroom somewhere.
Yeah.
Mia
and then
said
come
when-
back out and I'm like, I'm good.
I'm happy. Yeah. Mia said when she first moved here, she lost so many workouts and took last place for so long that she was going to the bathroom and crying almost every session. God. I never knew. Ever. And then she started like getting better and doing better. And the training group got bigger. And then she like told me about it. And I was like, man, every
Good on her
day,
for keeping
I know.
at it. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's got like the best developmental success story. I always give her a hard time, but she deserves props. So was 2018 the last regional?
It was.
It was. And then what?
I think 2019, that's when they did the weird like timing thing where they had one in the fall and then another one in normal open time.
And then that qualified you directly for the games.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't do anything. I didn't do the open in 2019.
Huh.
Then it was the restructuring of the whole season. So I was like, I'm going to take this year off just to train and kind of see what happens. I don't want to be like drugged through like the mud and everything.
Just because it was like going through October and then,
and just like a different setup. I just didn't really want to mess with it. So then I ended up doing the open in 2020, but I was sick for 3 weeks of it. I don't know, like looking back at it, the symptoms were very similar to COVID, but COVID wasn't around yet.
I mean, that was around the time though, wasn't it?
I think it wasn't announced. I think it was a little too early, but like I had a cough for like 3 weeks. Like my heart rate would spike anytime I tried to do anything.
What
like,
month was it?
I couldn't breathe. When was the open? Like October?
2020 open, I think was in October. Yeah.
So it was right before. Yeah, but I remember trying to do that and I was like, this is just not going very well, but still finished it. Didn't do very well, but then there were still other online things to qualify for, and I qualified for MAC and then Cam West games, but then of course all the competitions got canceled.
Did MAC go on that year though?
No.
Oh, it didn't?
No.
Oh.
That was the Canadian one that didn't our people fly up to it and then lose all their money and never get it back?
Oh,
that
Atlas.
There. Yeah, Atlas. Yeah. They said that they were they said they'd go out of business if everybody asked for a refund. So they asked people to like buy
Cam West. Yeah.
I thought that was Atlas.
It might have been both, but Cam West did that too, and they like didn't give people's money back. I didn't get my money back.
Yeah, I didn't ask for my money back. I said, sure, take it. But I just like, they're going on this year and there's obviously not going to be spectators because it's online, virtual, whatever.
Yeah, so I guess Atlas and Cam West, the other one, I guess they both said they couldn't give people's money back. So
you haven't competed in a while.
No.
Like in person.
The last in-person competition I did was, have you heard of the IF3?
Yeah.
So I did the competition that was in Sweden. It was at the end of 2019. That was the last time I was on the floor.
Nice. In Sweden. What was the experience like? I have not really paid that much attention to
that whole thing.
Yeah. To what's been developing. I know they're trying to, I think James Fitzgerald is a big part of it and they were trying to make it into like,
I think they're trying to get it
the
into
Olympic
the Olympics,
sport, right?
Eventually.
So what were the tests like and what was the experience like?
I forget. They have like certain names, everyone, but one's like gymnastics, like endurance, like power output. I don't know, different names. The test seemed like pretty well balanced. Like one was like all ergs to test like aerobic stuff and then gymnastics. So the tests were fun. The qualification event was in Virginia in like June. And then the competition was in Malmö, Sweden.
I have questions. So first one, as a competitor. So you can have like the physiological structure of trying to figure out, okay, these are the definitions of fitness. Let's have tests that accurately go through that. Or there's kind of the CrossFit model, which is kind of like Hopper. It's like put all this stuff in. Which one do you prefer? And which one do you think is better for fans? Like if you're trying to create a sport moving forward, would you say invest more into the almost making it like a decathlon?
So I mean, personally, I like both, like competing in both, but I think that probably the more CrossFit side is probably better for spectators because like one of the events, the aerobic piece, like everyone's just on ergs or running. So a spectator's not really going to want.
They had a marathon row at the games.
They did. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I think either one.
Both?
No
both. Preference?
There's not really that big of a difference, I don't think.
Yeah. What are they trying to standardize? Because I feel like for an Olympic sport, you need to have
You do have to have
standardization.
They have a whole rule book. I didn't really pay that much attention to it.
You competed in
I was like, I
I was going to say she's a participant. She's not in charge of the freaking company.
All right.
I was like, I see what I have to do. This is what I'm going to focus on. But
Where in Sweden was it?
Malmö. I was saying Malmö, but evidently there's like 2 dots over the O, so it's Malmö.
Well, yeah. I'm glad that you pronounced it correctly now because neither of us would have known.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Yeah. What was it like? It
was amazing. Yeah. I mean, the flight over
beautiful.
there was not that great. But it was so cool. I haven't been to Europe since I was like a child, so it was really cool.
What do you think about the food in Sweden?
So we didn't really eat that much food in Sweden because I was only in Sweden for the competition, but I went to Copenhagen afterwards and the food there was really good.
Wait, you didn't eat while you were competing at all?
I did, but I tried to get food that I would normally eat back home. But I did notice like the grocery stores, they're very lacking in the snack department. I was like,
they're lacking in everything.
Where are the snacks?
That's why there's so many less overweight
So you didn't
people.
get the chance to eat all their cuisine. Their whole thing is like their main thing is like a little sandwich where it's like shrimp and mayonnaise on top of, I don't know, a piece of bread or something.
Yeah.
And after 10 days of that, it was like, where is this Burger King I keep hearing about?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, their portions are pretty small too.
Yeah.
I was just noticing like we would go out to eat in Copenhagen and I would eat something and I was like, we gotta go get something else. I'm hungry. Like these people are not even like athletes, that's for sure.
Yeah. It puts into perspective like how much food you have to consume. You like go to a restaurant, you order a portion and you're like, I need 4 of these.
Yeah. It's like this is the appetizer.
Speaking of food, so hold on. You're a competitive CrossFit athlete, you're a nurse, and you also do nutritional coaching. Mm-hmm. So your nursing degree in something like nutrition related?
No, it was just nursing degree. And then I worked for 3.5 years as a nurse before I stopped doing that.
Oh, okay. So you're not actively
I'm not actively nursing right now,
okay.
but I still I keep up with my license because I would never want to take
every time
again.
You say nursing, I keep thinking of like nursing a baby. You're like, I was nursing. Like, no, it's not right.
That hasn't happened.
Yeah. So what kind of nurse were you?
Critical care. So I worked in ICU.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty serious profession.
I did that straight out of school. That was kind of the only thing that I wanted to do. My whole goal was to be a nurse anesthetist. But then once getting into nursing, I was like, this isn't really for me at all.
The lifestyle?
I think it was a lifestyle. Like I didn't love shift work and also like realizing that I'm just treating like chronic disease for the most part. And I'm taking care of people who don't really want to take care of themselves. I'd rather kind of work with people who want to better themselves and want to be healthy and live a better lifestyle. I was becoming like kind of burnout and a little bit jaded.
Yeah,
and
that happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, and I think probably it's getting worse just because like shortages with nursing and long hours. You're working short staffed a lot.
Yeah, especially it seems like you're very physically motivated and like to move, and I feel like if you are like that, the lifestyle is not really conducive to setting you up for success.
Yeah, so nurses typically full time is 3 days a week because you're working 12-hour shifts. So you end up being at the hospital for like closer to 13 or 13 and a half. So like you can't train on those days. Like if I'm somewhere for 13 hours, like I'm going home, I'm eating and I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So that kind of cuts into you only being able to train 4 days a week. So it was very conflicting with
What's
me trying to be
nurse
an athlete.
And say what you said.
Nurse anesthetist.
What is that again?
So it's a CRNA. So basically they work under an anesthesiologist. So basically you're putting people to sleep
I thought
for
that's
like
what you were going to
surgeries.
say.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
The nurse assistant. Oh man, that's a hard
Just
word.
say CRNA.
Yeah.
No, not your job, but the other job.
Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, that. Do those people cheat on their wives a lot?
Why?
How often did you get hit on? Disclosure. Come on, let's go.
I mean,
Where did that question?
I think
I've heard so many stories about that particular profession.
Did you watch the show Nip Tuck?
No.
I don't know if it's that particular profession or just like doctors in general. Like you spend so much time at the hospital, you're around like nurses and other people
I guess
who
if
work
it's
in
a
the
13-hour
hospital.
day.
Yeah, so you're there the majority of your life. I think it's kind of hard to not start to get close to people who you're with that much.
So you did get hit on a lot. Because
I
originally I thought that question was like, holy shit, that's out of left field. But now it's like maybe.
I mean,
Like I hear it so often that it's just like, dang, it must be crazy.
some,
in
but
there.
I think also I would get hit on more from like patients, honestly, than like people I worked with.
Now you're just bragging.
I'm
So awkwardly transition. So you finished, you wanted to step away from nursing. And did you go right into nutrition stuff or coaching or what?
I was coaching CrossFit for probably the first year that I was in Canada, just like making money and trying to still have some sort of income.
At OPT?
No, it was in another CrossFit gym
okay.
up there.
Okay.
Which I was lucky to kind of easily find that. And then I started kind of doing a little bit of nutrition coaching on the side on my own. And then I was getting coached by Mike Malloy, the owner of M2 Performance Nutrition. And I kind of expressed to him, I want to get more into this, kind of make this my career move. And then he brought me on for coaching. I became a coach with him, I think sometime in 2019.
Cool. So
And I've just been growing with the company since then.
Yeah. So what's been your primary? Is it like mostly athletes or mostly just people?
I'd say I have a good mix. I say probably half of who I work with are athletes. Like I have a couple, or I have a teenage X Games athlete. I have a Masters Games athlete and people who are kind of at the quarterfinals, regionals level. But then I do have a decent amount of people who just want to look good, feel good, and live a healthy lifestyle. So it's a good balance.
If you had to reduce your nutritional philosophy into something that was practical for regular people or like the biggest mistakes that people make, for me, I've done like FDN and I've done bodybuilding protocols and cyclic keto and worked with people that weigh and measure. And I've tried so many different things. Still at this stage, it seems like such a fluid process that is so hard to really simplify. So I'd be interested if you would like the things that you deal with on a regular basis. Like what are the big problems? Or
I think that a lot of people like try and change too much too soon. That's a big thing. Either trying to change too much too soon or trying to get into like a fad thing because like they heard it worked for something else, someone else. The big thing is just like sustainability. If you can't sustain whatever you're trying to do, you're not going to be successful in doing it. So like making one change at a time, waiting 4 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer if you need it, and then trying to implement another change until you create these habits because if you can't sustain something, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that process of patience in general. So I think as a coach, I have the same philosophy when it comes to like training somebody's movement. They're like, okay, you want to do a muscle up. It's like, all right, well, first develop a hollow body position and some strict pulling capability and open your shoulder. Yes. So that's the, that's the common. So what's been the process? Do you like select your demographic as people that are into that and realize and they trust the process?
No,
or you
not
gotta
really.
Fight?
So like sometimes people come to me and then I send them through the company to get them, or the company just sends me clients and I like, they try to match up their intake form with the coach they think will like help them, be able to help them the most. But I'd say half the people who come to me are already like bought in. They're like, I will trust this process. Like I'm going to be patient, but a lot of them, there's a lot of like that mindset shift that needs to happen. To like making them okay with being patient with the process. So that's a big challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah. What's your thought process with regards to food for yourself as an athlete? Are you coaching yourself with your own food?
I am now, but I was working with Mike Malloy, but then when I was moving to Austin, just kind of getting a lot more bills, I was like, let me cut back on this. And I started coaching myself.
How do you find that? I've tried dabbling with coaching myself, getting other coaches to help me. I feel like I go through these ebbs and flows where I'm like, I could do it. And other times I'm like, I need help.
Let's have a consult with Max right here.
Oh, a consult.
Oh no.
But you're talking about coaching yourself with like fitness things.
I mean, food too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a little different.
What?
Like food? Coaching yourself with like fitness in comparison to just like food.
Oh, okay. What are
like,
the differences?
I don't know. Like with
back your shit up.
Yeah.
with nutrition, there's like, you have to hold yourself accountable, but there's not something where you can like shy from your weaknesses. But with like programming, I feel like it's easier to you to like ignore your weaknesses or just start to gravitate towards things that you like. But with nutrition, it's like you know the right thing to do.
I gravitate towards the things I like.
You gravitate towards the weaknesses.
I gravitate
Give me
towards
those
Raisinets. I think for me, I mean, it's different because if I have like a very specific goal, if I'm like, hey, I'm preparing for something, then the decision is pretty easy for me to be like, all right, this is what I need to do. But if it's kind of just like, all right, work is really up right now. I'm just trying to eat to fuel my brain and like make sure that I'm 80-20. Then I'll just naturally start to be like, it's like we were talking about before, it's 50-50 at some point. And I'm like, I need some accountability just so I don't like continue to fall down this slippery slope.
But I think that there can be like different times of the year. Like, I don't think you always have to be like so on it with your nutrition. Like if you're not trying to be an athlete right now, you're just trying to like look good and feel good, then you can have kind of these peaks and valleys where you're a little more focused on that. And then other times of the year, you're more focused on your athletes and their events and things like that. So I don't think it always has to be you're on it. Yeah.
Do you change your body composition purposefully or change you just stay like pretty steady?
Yeah, I stay pretty steady. I eat about the same. And then around competition time when volume ramps up, I'll just start to eat
When was the last time you didn't have abs? Go ahead and stand up and show them the abs.
Stand up for real?
Yeah, why not?
You can see a picture of it anywhere.
No, that's like editing. I don't want to do that. Here, go for it.
For real? This is so awkward.
I'm just kidding.
You don't have to do that.
Like,
But when was the last time you didn't have them?
Though, I don't remember.
You might have been. Have you been?
Actually,
half the internet just punched you in the face.
It was probably
I don't remember.
It was right before I went to regionals in 2015 on the team. I was a little bit bigger, and that's when I started counting macros.
Oh, what's a little bit bigger? Like, what's your current body weight, and what's that?
So my body weight back then was like 155, and I was definitely like body fat was higher. I don't ever get my body checked. I don't really care. Body fat checked. I don't care about that. Right now, I sit around like 140 to 144.
That's a pretty substantial amount of body fat loss on that body weight. Yeah, but at that time when
I was losing weight, I think I got down to like low 130s.
Really?
Right before the games. I was tiny.
Did you have a change in performance at that point? I'm saying wow because you're already pretty lean and muscular.
It's tough to say. I think I probably had less muscle mass maybe. It's tough to say if my performance took a dip because I wasn't where I am now.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't at the same level.
Yeah. When you struggle with nutrition, what are your kind of big hiccups that you run into?
I'm such a creature of habit and pretty neurotic about it, honestly.
I thought you were going to say I'm such a creeper, but it said creature of habit. I was like, what's a creeper with food? Sorry.
Give me the snacks. I don't know.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I think probably my biggest struggle would be like if I'm not tracking, I tend to want to like binge eat and feel really full.
Really?
Like towards the end of the day.
Yeah. Like to go after you've done training and stuff like that.
Yeah, not like in between training.
Can you give us an example of one of your crazier binges?
I mean, I really like pizza and I get sushi weekly. Like back home, I'll get like either tacos with sushi or like sushi and pizza.
Hold on.
It's like a refeed day.
Tacos and sushi
Yeah. What
together?
happens? Yeah. Because
like
I like
separate?
sushi and then my boyfriend wants to get something else. So then I'll have like a slice of his pizza and then my sushi.
Look at you. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
All
right. So that's nutrition. I want to talk about gymnastics, nutrition, CrossFit, nursing.
I wanted to say, let's go back to cheerleading. Did you ever fall?
Yeah, but I never got injured like badly. I think I was like dropped a few times.
And you get dropped on people.
No, like onto the floor. Like they didn't catch me.
And when that happens, how long does it take to rebuild the trust? Or is it kind of like, hey, it's cool? I was such
a chicken. I was so scared. I'm scared of heights, so I don't know why the heck I was a
flyer. Why were you a flyer?
They put me up there. I didn't have a choice. Yeah. I was like, fine. Like crying at practice. I'm scared to be tossed in the air.
Did you cry in front of your cheerleading?
Probably not. I doubt it. I probably went to the bathroom.
Fair enough. All right, Chris, you got any other dumb questions you want to throw over here?
I'm good. Now what?
Now what? I'm here until June 2nd, and I'll go home to Austin, Texas for a couple weeks, and then we'll all venture out to Vegas.
How long have you been in Austin?
Just over a year.
And what are your thoughts?
I love Austin. Austin's a really cool city.
I heard it's growing a lot, too.
It is, because like Apple's moving there. Tesla just is
Apple's
building
been there.
No?
Yeah, my sister works for Apple, and she's been there for a few years now.
Hold on. Their headquarters that has been.
No, they're moving their official Apple headquarters.
They're going to have another headquarters there, I think.
Oh, okay.
She works at some place there.
Yeah, Austin is great. Everyone has like a very active lifestyle. There's a lot of things to do outside. The only complaint I have is obviously training environment. Like I don't really have anyone to train with.
What do you do for training? Are you in your in a garage gym or you got a gym?
It's at a gym. It's called Central Athlete. It's similar to like an OPEC style gym, but they're not affiliated with OPEC. So it's just
you go in, everyone's one-on-one or has like one-on-one
doing
coaching.
their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all have like battles? Like, hey, what programming are you doing? Hey, what programming are
No,
you doing?
no one in there really does CrossFit. Most of them are either just trying to be strong or just be healthy. So me and my boyfriend and one other person are the only people that are more like athletes trying to compete in something. One of the coaches is a really good weightlifter, but there's only like 2 people that do CrossFit there.
Huh. Well, it is interesting that a lot of people trend towards strength training as like they go into CrossFit and then they just do strength training.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just don't like the feeling of being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Strength training can make you uncomfortable though. I guess you got to be pretty strong.
I think it's just different genres of music. Like,
just some people trend.
It's like, this is fun for you and it's not fun for me.
Yeah. And food or whatever, just any individual preference.
Exactly.
What do you think of the octopus?
I like it. I need to snag a shirt with one.
I think we can get you one before you leave.
I don't know what the meaning behind it.
Oh, great. We finally got here. Let's do it.
Have you guys not gone over this yet with
we get
your
questions
audience?
all the time and I just keep deflecting. It's
and
not
we'll
really
probably
that
keep
big
deflecting
of a story
now.
forever. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
No, that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
Nope. Max is going to tell you what the octopus means.
There is no deep meaning. It's just a really cool animal. We're going to contribute to a charity that supports it. That's it.
What charity supports the octopus?
I mean, just one of the ones that's about the
Just
ocean.
the one that we Google. We're going to type in octopus charity.
I mean, no, it's not octopus.
So you're supporting
ocean.
Supporting like ocean life.
Cleaning, ocean life. I mean, I think
I heard the ocean's not in a good spot, so that's probably good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of it is accurate, but it feels like a good thing to do. And
how much of it is accurate about the ocean, or how much of it is accurate that your money's actually going to the ocean?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah. All of it.
Yeah. All of it.
Can we just like find someone in need in the community
and just give it to them instead?
Yeah.
I mean, we probably could.
I've always been so curious about these charities. Like, not against the one that you're going to pick, but just in general.
You are a hater.
Yeah, I'm kind of a hater.
All right, Jordan.
Thanks for a conversation.
No, we're not done. Let's keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing else.
I thought we were about to talk about charities.
We were not about to start about charities.
I don't know much about charities.
All right, Jordan, where do people follow you?
At Jaycock on Instagram.
Jaycock.
J, like the letter J.
Letter JAYCOC.
Oh, I'm glad you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that too. Why J-A-Y?
JCOC.
Your name's Jordan, not Jay.
No. I know. I don't know how I came up with that. It's been like that for like years, and I never changed it. I probably should update
You don't have like A as a middle name or something?
In Jordan Nicole Adcock.
Did people used to call you J? J-A-Y?
No, people sometimes call me Jord, so maybe I should change it to like Jordcock or something.
I think at this point you're gonna you got to keep your followers.
There's not that many of them, so I could probably change the name and it'd be just fine.
All right, we'll catch you at West Coast Classic, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Thank you.